Guys, it's me, it's Queen Osetaru, and thank you for joining me for another exciting edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. One of our regular subscribers asked me in the comment section the other day, what is the law of attraction? Now, many of you have heard me speak about the law of attraction because it's one of the laws that I use all the time. And it's very popular because a lot of people use it. So what she asked me is, what exactly is it? So I'm going to give you a basic understanding. I could write volumes on law of attraction, but a basic understanding is that in the world we have universal laws. Gravity is a very popular law that most people know. What goes up must come back down. So there are other laws like that. If you remember from science class, the law of attraction is just one of those universal laws. Very simple. And what it states is that what you focus on is what you receive. So if you focus on negativity, problems, issues, bills, worries, concerns, fights, negativity, if you're always thinking about and focusing on those kind of things, you draw more of that into your life. If you focus on positivity, good things, having enough money, being stable, you draw more positive things into your life. That's really all it is. But there's ways and techniques of doing it. Like, for instance, one very common thing is to think positively. You have to think positively. And this doesn't mean that bad things are not going to happen. It means you don't sit there and dwell on them and cry about them and bitch about them to everybody who will listen. Instead, you focus on it, figure out how to fix it, and move on. Okay? And this is going to be easier for some things than others, but the law of attraction just states that you deal with it and move on. It's very common sense law, actually. So for example, if you have a problem with your money, for example, let's say you're in debt up to your eyeballs, okay? The law of attraction states that you should do some kind of a debt consolidation program so all that gets together, and then focus your mind on prosperity. Focus your mind on getting money. Focus your mind on manifesting. Okay? Now, just because you focus your mind on these positive things doesn't mean that these positive things are just going to fly to you. What it means is that usually what happens is experiences come about for you to acquire these things. So what I'm going to attach to the bottom of this video is the book. It's a book and it's a DVD that I use to understand the law of attraction. And I'll also link some clips that I like here on YouTube for those of you who want to check it out immediately. And basically, once you learn how to use the law of attraction, you can manifest the things you want into your life. Everything that I have, I manifested through the law of attraction. Because once I learned about it, I was like, oh, okay. So I started to use the techniques. That's the biggest part of the law of attraction. You have to use the techniques. If you don't use the techniques, it doesn't work. For example, if you're not thinking positively, but you're saying, I'm using the law of attraction, it's not going to work for you. One of the other techniques is to put up vision boards. I'm sure you've all probably heard or seen somebody talking about vision boards. Vision board is basically a board that has your vision on it. It's like a construction, like a big poster board, for example, and you put on it what you want to manifest. So let's say you want to manifest a house and some money and, a good job. You would put pictures of what you want on this poster board and you would hang it up somewhere where you're going to see it constantly. So it's constantly in your mental, and you keep your mind focused on that is your vision. That is what you want to accomplish. Okay, so it's just one of the techniques. They use lots of techniques to help you keep your mind focused on victory, positivity, and the things that you want to bring to you. Somebody once told me, she said, how do you know it works? And I said, well, first of all, because of the things that I manifest. I consciously use it and then I manifest. So, like, for example, I have an old vision board and it's in storage now. But that vision board has on it everything I have right now. And I did that vision board like 5 years ago. So all the things I wanted, I was able to draw towards me from that particular vision board. So, how do you know it works? When you get the stuff you want. When you get the experiences you want. If you put on it that you want a new job, when you get the job, you know that it just works, you know? So, it's one of those kind of things. Like, you know it works from the evidence of it working. Some people use it for simple things like getting a car, a parking space, or things like that. But whatever you use it for, you're able to manifest what you want. And then you're like, oh, snap, I can do this. And then you try more and more things. So, that is the law of attraction. It is just simply universal law. There are lots of them: law of attraction, law of gravity, law of cause and effect. There are a lot of different universal laws that we learn from spirituality, from science, basically. Because really, spirituality is nothing more than science. Seriously, when you break it down, that's basically what it is: vibration, energy. That's all science. So there are a number of them. So I'm going to put these things in here. I want you guys to check it out. Those of you who don't know about it, I bet most of you know about it though, because it's very popular. It's people have been using these laws and these ideas since the beginning of time, really. All of the most powerful visionaries talked about the law of attraction in one way or another. That book by Napoleon Hill, which I'll also link to this, is called Think and Grow Rich, all based on the law of attraction. There's so many different people who've been using it over the years, and now they gave it a name, is what happened. It's always been used. It's been used since the beginning of time, all the way back to the beginning. So we can find evidence of it in ancient times. So when I give you the links, check them out and see what you think, because a lot of you, I guarantee that those of you who don't know about it may have already been using it, may have already been doing it. And those of you who do know about it, one of the things you may notice from looking at the literature, you may notice like what areas is not working for you. Because one of the videos I did a long time ago was why the law of attraction doesn't work. And it talks about all the ways in which that people don't do it right. And then it doesn't work. And then they're like, the law of attraction doesn't work. But the truth is, you didn't do it right. So there's another video that I will also put underneath here that you guys can check and look at that I did myself. So yeah, that's what the law of attraction is. It's not difficult to use it. It's all about really changing your mindset. We have a tendency to dwell on the negative. And if you're using the law of attraction or not, dwelling on the negative cannot help you. All it does is keep you stuck, emotionally stuck. It keeps you in this vibration of worry, of fear, of anxiety, of depression. Some people, I'm very clear that that's why they're in those spaces, is because they're not thinking positively. Life is not all rainbows and unicorns. Things happen, bad things happen, but focusing on them is where you make your mistake. Like if something happens in your life, and I tell a friend of mine this all the time: something happens bad in her life, all day long she's calling everybody and telling them what happened. She starts from the first person on her list. All day long she's texting people, calling people, and telling them about this awful thing that has occurred. I always tell her, handle what occurred. Don't keep talking about it. Just handle it and move on. Because by the end of the day, she's in such a frenzy from telling everybody and their grandmother about all the things that have happened that she's depressed, she's anxious, she doesn't want to go on. And I'm like, that's because you dwelled on that shit all day. Something as simple as an argument with her mother can send her into a tailspin for 2 or 3 days. But it's because she's constantly regurgitating the energy. She's doing the opposite of the law of attraction. She's drawing to her more negativity, more arguments, more bad energy. Her mom hears her talking about it on the phone. Now she's mad that you're telling people. Now she want to argue about that. It just draws more negativity. And I always tell her, deal with the argument, whatever the argument is. I'm not saying run from your circumstances, but don't dwell on the negative. And as a culture, as a society, we have a tendency to do that. A lot of us do it. I used to always do it until I learned this law. Then I was like, okay, just deal with it and move on. So that's the law of attraction. Okay? See you later.